everybody. Welcome to 2 Minutes and Beyond, the podcast where we review the Toy Story movies 2 minutes at a time. I'm Bianca, and this is Macy.
Hello.
Hi. And today we're bringing back our guest from last week. Guest, would you like to introduce yourself again?
Hello, I'm Jared Fairclough from toughpigs.com, and from last week's episode, I'm back to make things real uncomfortable again.
Yay! Fantastic.
We are glad to have you back.
And I'm glad to be back.
Yay! In this episode, we're talking about minutes 21 and 22 of Toy Story.
I'm excited.
I'm very excited too, because this is one of my favorite scenes.
And amazingly, it's a continuation of what we've already looked at.
I know.
Oh, it's like we planned it.
Kind of.
It's almost like we're going in chronological order.
Oh, so I was really hoping we were going to talk about the incinerator scene from Toy Story 3, but I guess not.
We're just skipping 3 years worth of podcasts.
Yeah, it's fine. We'll record that one now for in the future, so you've got it in the bag.
And we'll release it in like 2025.
Yeah, you got it banked. It's fine.
Alrighty, so are we ready to just jump in the fire? No pun intended.
That's good. That was well done. That was impressive.
Alrighty, so these 2 minutes start off with Mr. Potato Head finishing his line that he had started last week saying, "Man, the dolls must really go for you. Can you teach me that?" It cuts back to Woody and Slinky at the other end of the bed. Slinky laughs and says, "Golly, Bob, howdy." Woody tells him to shut up and crosses his arms and says, "In a couple of days, everything will be just the way it was. They'll see. They'll see. I'm still Andy's favorite toy."
Which I feel like Woody telling Slinky to shut up is another remnant of like the Black Friday version of the Toy Story script, where Woody was much more mean. Because if you watch like the clips of like the storyboards and stuff from that, Woody's just a jerk to Slinky the whole time. I mean, to everybody, but especially Slinky.
Yeah, he really treats Slinky pretty bad, and I feel like that in itself was something for Disney to just say, no, this is not, no. It's animal abuse.
See,
toy animal abuse.
It's funny, like, I would almost, not rather, because I love this film, but I still would love to see a film with Woody being just a real jerk. Like, I would have liked to have seen what they would have done with it. It's the same as, like, The Greatest Showman, right? So, Hugh Jackman's character is based on, like, a real person. Hugh Jackman's character in that film is the down on his luck, underdog, look what I can do. In real life, that guy was a real bad guy. And I watched that movie and went, yeah, this is fine. But I would rather have seen a movie where Hugh Jackman actually was a jerk.
Like a historically accurate movie about P.T. Barnum.
Yeah, exactly right.
I am very familiar with that movie because I babysit a girl with Down syndrome and she loves that movie. Mm-hmm. We probably watch it like twice a week. I can probably recite the whole movie from memory at this point.
Oh gosh.
It's not a great movie.
No, well, when you do The Greatest Showman 2 minutes at a time, The Greatest Two-Man, I can't think of what the joke would be.
No, thank you.
No? Well, I was going to start that podcast. I won't invite you on.
At the 16-second mark, the song Strange Things starts to play, and we see a montage of Buzz becoming Andy's favorite toy and becoming popular with the toys in Andy's bedroom. It starts off with Andy playing with Woody and jumping on his bed before having Buzz pretend to shoot Woody with his laser. Andy runs into his closet and changes into a Buzz Lightyear t-shirt and some cardboard wings and a helmet that he's made, yells, "Buzz Lightyear to the rescue!" and runs out the door. It cuts to a close-up of Woody lying on the ground looking upset.
I think we've talked before about like how creative Andy is and like how he was like making those boxes, like buildings out of those little boxes, and now he's got like his little cardboard helmet and wings. I just love that. It's so cute.
I think that's really cute too.
First note for the whole thing was how good's Andy at art. Like, he's a good little artist.
Yeah.
Like, you see a couple of his things up on the wall, like his drawing of Woody and these boxes and stuff. And it's like, you're a solid little artist, kid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and he's got like a really good imagination.
Yeah.
You
Is it ever
know, thinking
explained
of
when
all
he
these things.
goes to college to study? Because I reckon it had to be art. Because look at him. Like, dude's
For
a creative.
sure. I really
He's a
do
creative
think
little
that
dude.
too. He was going to go to like art school or something because that's way too much to like put effort into that just for him to go into like go be a doctor or something.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's impressive. And it's like, and again, looking at the animation of like Andy in this, yeah, he's a creepy human. Like, you can tell, like, I know they've talked about not being able to figure out humans. We talked about it a little bit in the last episode. But, like, there's him when he's flopping, like, Woody around when he's running around and you see his face.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't freeze frame on that. You will have nightmares. It's terrifying.
I'm just going to say this again because I bring this up almost every other video. He's still not as creepy as the baby on Tin Toy.
Oh, yeah, that's fair. That's a fair call.
It's just, I can't get over that horrific baby. It's, no. It's a no thank you from me.
That's terrifying. I feel like they didn't really figure out. I mean, the humans in Toy Story 2 look better. They're still not super great. I feel like they didn't really figure out humans until like The Incredibles.
Yeah. They had a lot of time to actually work on humans in The Incredibles because all the characters are human, you know, so they had to really study how to make the skin look not plasticky and how to make everything look more textured so that it looks less scary.
Yeah.
Yeah. One thing that I've just noticed that I really appreciate, because this would have been like someone going, I'm just going to put this little fun thing in there, is that when he runs into the closet as Woody, and it like any other thing, I think would have kept a static shot, would have had him run in, and then would have had him run out as Buzz Lightyear.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a slight cut, and the camera moves.
Yeah,
and it's like a nice little, almost like the camera crew like screwed up or something like that.
right.
Which obviously would have been on purpose, and it's it's a nice little touch, nice little human interest.
Yeah, I noticed that too. So I'm just going to say right now that Strange Things is one of my favorite songs in Toy Story. I have it on my Spotify, so at work I'm blasting it, and I'm pretty sure the girl next to me in the cubicle is like, oh my gosh, shut up with that song already.
Also, I think the line about Buzz being like some little punk in a rocket might be one of my favorite song lyrics of all time.
Yeah, I like that lyric too.
This is just classic Randy Newman, though, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Which is like there's a Family Guy joke about it that he just sings about what he sees.
Yeah, I think I've seen that.
Yeah, and he's literally singing about what you're seeing on screen at the moment.
Right.
It's the same as what is it? It's I can't let you throw yourself away or whatever on Toy Story 4, which is when Forky keeps trying to throw himself in the trash, and the song's literally, I'm not going to let you throw yourself in the trash. Like, yeah, okay, put a little more effort in, buddy. Like, a little more subtlety would be nice.
Have either of you seen, I think it was a sketch from Mad TV that was like, what if Randy Newman wrote the songs for the new Star Wars movie?
Yes. That one's great. I love that skit.
Because it's kind of a similar thing where he's just making up songs based on whatever comes to his mind.
Yeah, exactly. It's
like, he's very good. Don't get me wrong. He's a good songwriter, but he's also like 1-2 drafts max, I think. And then Randy's like, right, give me the next one.
Yeah. I feel like too this a lot of his like repertoire outside of the stuff that he's done for movies and things like that is he's kind of known for his snark in a lot of his songs. Like you think about the song like Short People, or that song that he did a couple years ago about Putin.
Yeah.
Yep.
And this is the one song in the movie where we kind of actually get to see like that side of Randy Newman.
Yeah. I like that they brought the snarkiness of Randy Newman to the movie.
It's like in this song, Randy's snarkiness is Woody's snarkiness in the movie.
Mm-hmm. I like that those two things kind of like blend together.
Mm-hmm. One thing that always bothered me when I was a kid, and still bothers me now, is that Woody looks horrified to see that the bed sheet has changed.
Yes.
Were you on the bed when it happened? How did you not notice that yet? That's a
Were
very
you
big
in the
thing
toy
to not
box
notice.
when they changed it and then they just threw you back on, or what
Yeah.
happened?
Yeah, how have you not figured that out? You have to climb up onto that thing. Surely you've seen it enough to realize it's changed.
The only thing I can think of where it kind of makes sense is if maybe Andy just like set him down on there, and
Yeah.
like when Andy leaves, he gets up and he realizes, oh, the bedding has changed.
Yeah.
It's funny though when Woody does that, when he notices, he opens his mouth, and he opens his mouth like
Like
far too
all the
wide.
way.
He's
And then
horrified.
there's another little bit of animation cheating, which must look horrifying from another angle, because you can actually see a little bit of his chin has gone into his neck,
Yeah.
like the
Oh,
animation of it. And yeah, that's going to look horrifying from another angle.
I didn't notice that. I mean, if you think about it too, like, you know, the bed was Woody's spot, you know, so having it taken over by the Buzz bed sheets must be upsetting for him.
That's just downright blasphemy to Woody. All right. At the 44-second mark, it cuts to a shot of Andy's cowboy posters and drawings changing to Buzz's posters and drawings. Woody turns around to realize that Andy's cowboy bedding has been changed to Buzz bedding, which is what we just talked about.
Now, why is he so upset that the cowboy poster changed when it's not even a Woody poster? Like, I know it's a
Maybe because
cowboy poster.
maybe because he realizes, like, I'm slowly becoming the not favorite toy because he used to be all about cowboys and now it's all about this funky little space dude. So that's probably what's going on in his head.
Yeah.
Now, have we? I don't know. Again, I don't know what you guys have spoken about or not. Have you spoken about the Christmas toy, which is the old Jim Henson film or special?
We haven't. Bianca, have I told you about this before?
I don't think you have.
So there's an old Jim Henson Christmas special called The Christmas Toy, which is about a toy who gets replaced as the favorite toy by a space toy, and tries to basically, who thinks that they are an actual space like astronaut.
Oh my gosh.
And this thing came out in like the 80s, and there's a lot of similarities. I've got to imagine that that's not a coincidence.
That was probably the inspiration.
It could have been. I mean,
I call plagiarism.
look, I love, the Muppets as much as the next person. Actually, no, I love them far more than the next person. So I've got Kermit the Frog's eye tattooed to my arm. But I will still argue Toy Story still probably did it better.
Yeah,
for
I've
sure.
only seen the Christmas toy once a few years ago, and it was fine.
Yeah, you probably don't need to anymore.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like too. I mean, there's a lot of stories about toys coming to life. I feel like maybe you can totally pin it on like they saw this before and they intentionally tried to copy it, because I feel like some of the elements we've seen in other stories about toys coming to life as well.
I certainly don't think that's an intentional,
Right.
plagiarism. But yeah, I can't imagine it was accidental, because there are a lot of similarities between these two films.
And we know that some of the guys at Pixar are Muppet fans.
They are.
Like Pete Docter, he worked on this movie.
That is a good point. You got a lot to answer for, Pete Docter. I'll write that in my letter.
With all your complaints.
With
to
all my
Pixar.
complaints, which is a reference to last week's episode.
Yes.
I just remembered that we haven't spoken about that this episode.
It's been a whole week.
In a whole week, oh my god, and it's gone fast.
Yes.
It feels like only about 25 minutes ago.
Can't remember a single thing.
What I was wondering is if they're about to move in like less than a week, why is Andy's mom like letting him change his bedding and like all the posters and everything when you know they're probably getting ready to like pack everything up and move to the new house?
That doesn't make sense now that I think about that. Or if she's trying to, because some moms are crazy and they're like, we have to wash everything before packing it. So maybe she just washed the cowboy stuff and was like, okay, put the Buzz Lightyear stuff. I don't care. So she just packed that and then it's going to pack the Buzz stuff later. I don't know.
It's a solid argument. I mean, that's logical. But again, I agree. Like the posters and everything like that. Like,
you would be taking stuff like that down.
Yeah, you can hold it a week, mate, before you put it up into the new house.
You're just creating holes for the new homeowner.
Unless he's using tape.
No, it's tacks. I just had a look. He's definitely got pins in the wall.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, he's just creating holes for the new homeowner.
Maybe he just put the tacks in the same spot as they were before.
Well, I mean, while we look at that, let's see whether or not this will be fun. I'll watch this live and see if it. Okay, no is the answer to that, because also on the side you got like the Buzz Lightyear Deep Space Code. There wasn't actually anything there yet, so he created new holes.
Oh gosh,
he is not a respectful seller. His mother is not a respectful seller to these new people. Or are they just going to probably get rid of these walls anyway? Because they don't want the clouds wallpaper, surely.
Probably not. If it's especially like an older kid, they're like, what are these clouds? Let's paint it.
Speaking of the posters, the new one on the right, it looks like it has a bunch of stuff written on it, and I meant to see if I could figure out what that was, and I just totally forgot. Like at the bottom it says Deep Space, but that's all I can make out.
So it's got Deep Space Code, and and obviously there's coding. It looks like almost Morse code on it, but there's nothing on the poster to decode. So unless
you already have to know it.
Yeah, you already have to know it. Or there's obviously like maybe cards came with it. Maybe there's something on the Buzz Lightyear box that you have to decode, and it probably just says to infinity beyond.
Maybe.
But yeah, I noticed that, and because it's got all that, and then it's got numbers 0 to 9. So yeah, because I looked at that as well and thought, oh, is there like a code? Like if we go on it, is it going to be like Pete Doctor was here or something like that? But no, there's nothing to decode anywhere in this shot.
I kind of want the poster of Buzz that is above Andy's bed. I would actually kind of like to have that poster.
I'm sure it probably exists somewhere.
I've actually now that I think about it, I might have seen like some fans recreate it.
Yeah, someone on Etsy would have remade that somewhere.
Yeah,
I've actually seen that print as a blanket, like a throw blanket, and I really wanted that blanket.
That would be.
Are we moving on or no?
Don't you love it? That's my favorite part of podcasting is the awkward pause when no one knows what's next. Like, do you want to talk? Do you want me to talk? What happens? Oh, it's the worst. And it's inevitable. It happens in every podcast. No matter how professional it is, there's always this pause is going on too long. What happens?
That's where the magic of editing comes in.
Yes. It's very fantastic. Okay, so are we ready?
Yes.
Okay. At the 58-second mark, Buzz is helping Rex learn how to roar. He tries to, it sounds pathetic, so Buzz shows him a couple of tips, and suddenly he can roar so loud that he blows all of Potato Head's parts off. Buzz shakes his hand to congratulate him.
How did Buzz know, what to do to help Rex roar?
Exactly. I'm like, you're a little spaceman. Y'all don't have dinosaurs? Unless they did the whole Jurassic Park thing and brought them back to life.
Or maybe it's like an alien. Maybe he is somehow like familiar with some aliens that can roar or something like that.
But when he blows all of Potato's stuff off him, again, physics. Like, where's the air coming from? Because Rex hasn't got an internal system. He hasn't got lungs.
Exactly.
Or does he? Oh, that's horrifying.
That is horrifying because there's that little short of him taking a bath, and isn't he like in the water or something? Like,
Yeah, he's
isn't all
probably
that
drowning.
Yeah.
going into you're dry drowning yourself?
So yeah, I don't know where this stuff's coming from, but another thing to Pixar. Get your physics together, mate.
I mean, I can't believe in the movie where toys come to life that toys can breathe.
I'm trying to think, because isn't there a moment, it might be later on in this film, where there's a match? And isn't one of them trying to blow it out or something like that and can't do it? I might be making that up.
Well, I know at the end, Woody has a match and he's trying to light it.
And then the car comes by and
that's
and
what I
blows
could
it
be.
out.
That's probably what I was thinking of because, yeah, like because he wouldn't be able to breathe that out either.
Mm-hmm.
So he needs Rex because that dude's the only toy with lungs, apparently.
And I've thought about that too ever since I was little. I'm like, can they breathe? Like, do they suffocate if they're in a toy box, or are they fine?
Jessie has panic attacks, like in Toy Story of Terror.
Yeah, she has panic attacks, but I don't know.
She can't breathe for a while,
and she does say that too. She says, "I can't breathe." I'm like, "Oh, I didn't know toys had lungs."
There's a harrowing sort of implication with this film, isn't there?
And then I'm just going to bring this up now because I thought of it. There's that one Super Bowl commercial or some type of commercial where Buzz and Woody are eating popcorn.
It was a Super Bowl commercial for the movie WALL-E, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Where for some reason they had Woody and Buzz in it, like sitting on a couch eating popcorn.
And they're actually putting it in their mouth and eating it.
Piece of popcorn and eats it.
That was the most horrifying thing I had ever seen in my entire life. I was like, what happens to the popcorn?
I don't like to think about these things.
You're like, I want out of this podcast.
I don't want to be on this podcast anymore. I want to go talk about Miss Piggy or something.
Oh my gosh. Now I can't get that out of my head. I'm like, they're eating popcorn.
Sorry about that, everybody. We're going to destroy these films for everybody.
It's okay. Oh my gosh. Okay, so at the 1 minute 7 second mark, Woody and Etch sketch.
Sorry.
Oh,
I need to
go
interrupt.
right ahead.
Sorry.
No, yes, go ahead.
I just watched the bit where they shake hands. They don't shake hands. They literally just touching each other's hands, going like up and down, and it again, unless you were really looking at it, you wouldn't even notice it. But the animators haven't even intertwined their hands or anything like that. They've literally just put one hand on top of the other and gone, just shake it.
Oh my gosh.
So that's harrowing as well.
Buzz's arm is also cutting into his suit again when he shakes.
Yeah, because his arms can't go that forward.
So many cheats. Again, they just really didn't count on someone watching this movie with a fine-tooth comb.
They really didn't. Okay, so at the 1 minute 7 second mark, Woody and Etch sketch are walking past each other when Woody notices that Etch has drawn Buzz. Woody stops and grabs Etch to get a better look, then glares over at Buzz, who is combing the troll doll's hair. Woody picks up Etch in anger and shakes him violently to erase the image of Buzz.
I've got to imagine that's invading his privacy or invading his own personal space, just shaking him.
I know,
that's like violently abusing the poor Etch sketch.
Exactly right. I my best friend is in a wheelchair, right? And I'm never just going to take her out of her wheelchair so I can just play with it.
Oh God.
Like, that's just violating human rights. Is there Etch a Sketch rights in this world?
Oh my gosh. I would hope so, considering that they have lungs and eat popcorn. You would think that they would have some type of like
human rights?
Etch-a-Sketch rights. Exactly.
I mean, Etch-a-Sketch all he can do is like walk around and draw on himself. He can't do much of anything else.
And then even his walk is just a sad little waddle, this poor little thing.
Well, that's it. What does a toy need to come alive? Now, because that's a question that they look at that they think about at least a little bit in number 4 with Forky, because Forky's just trashed, has been put together. What does Etch-a-Sketch need to be alive? Like, because he hasn't got eyes, he hasn't got a mouth, he can only communicate through his Etch-a-Sketchiness. Are there some toys that aren't alive?
I'm trying to think.
Concerning.
Because you look at something like RC, right? RC is a remote control car, but with a remote. Is the remote like control part of him? Is the remote control alive? Is that like just an accessory? Is that an appendage?
I mean, the first thing that comes to mind is like the alphabet blocks that they use.
Yeah, are they alive?
They don't seem to be alive. I mean, Woody like stands on some during the staff meeting scene earlier on. He's got like the Tinker Toy podium, and then he stands on some alphabet blocks.
I just want to say, my favorite part about me making this point was watching Bianca's face, where she just sort of went like, "Oh, there's so many questions."
There's way too many questions for this movie. This is now becoming my least favorite movie because I'm going to be thinking about all this stuff.
Well, something you can tell you what, like in future episodes, you guys can create your hypothesis. Maybe future guests will come up with ideas, and just let me know.
I'm going to have to take a trip to California.
Yeah.
I'm going to just have to go to Pixar and be like, look, y'all are going to answer all these questions.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll just have
I'll
a list of
take your letter with me.
Cool. Thank you. Just have a list of like 25 questions. Be like, right, I'm not leaving until you've answered bang, 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 bang.
It's going to have to be like a 3-day session because we have so many questions.
And the main one I want to know is, do Etch-a-Sketches have rights?
I mean, for Etch-a-Sketch's sake, I hope he does.
Do you reckon when Woody does this and, shakes him, do you reckon when Woody turns around, Etch-a-Sketch just like really quickly like draws a middle finger? Or like something really like that he can't say because there's preschool toys present?
I wouldn't blame him.
I mean, I feel like he would be capable of that because later on he does draw a noose.
Or does Mr. Potato Head draw that?
Oh, maybe.
No, or does Etch draw it for Mr.
I think Etch draws it for Mr. Potato Head.
Maybe Mr. Potato Head threatened him too. Dang. Who's the real villain of this movie?
Didn't we talked before in an episode that hasn't come out yet about Mr. Mike and how he can't.
Poor Mr. Mike.
He's just like a vessel for the other toys to speak through.
I think that one did just come out though. I think.
Oh yeah,
that one just released. Yes,
and he's got like a permanent smile on his face.
Yeah.
His poor face. I feel so bad for him. He looks a little soulless, and he's just like, I have to.
People have said the same of me.
Let's start calling you Mr. Mike.
Yeah, great. My middle name is Michael, so hey, it works.
Oh, so it works perfectly.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I also want to point out how much Buzz is enjoying doing the hair of the troll doll. He looks like he's actually like got his license in doing hair.
That's it. I kind of hope, because like we've got this Lightyear movie coming out. Is it next year or maybe the year after?
I think it's next year.
Which
next
is
summer.
Like, the human that Buzz is based on. I really hope like there's just a little bit in the like quick thing in the film where he has his like hairdressing license just to justify this scene and why Buzz is so into it.
That would be great. There's a lot of things that I want to see, just so everything can make sense as to like why he's so adamant that he's not a toy. Like to see how, I guess, heroic the actual Buzz Lightyear is, just to kind of piece things together.
Well, that brings up then, did the toys when they come out of the factory, like did Woody come out of the factory knowing he was a toy? Or did he come out of the factory thinking he was a cowboy? Because then why would Buzz and all the Buzz Lightyears come out thinking they were real?
Exactly. And then I think, like, what if it's just the personality type of the toy? Like, since he's supposed to be heroic, but then you think of it and Woody and Woody's Roundup, he's supposed to be the hero. So maybe he did when he first was manufactured. And maybe after being played with, he realized, okay, I am a toy. This is how it's actually going to be. I don't know.
Which, if he did, then that makes him even more of a jerk. Because if the same thing happened to him, and now
He's not
Yeah.
being
he's just giving
understanding.
Buzz crap about it.
Yeah, no, he's like, you know what, I've gone through this. You're not going to go through it. Let's just really dick you around.
That's probably what happened. He's like, no, this isn't happening again. But he's just going about it like the worst way possible.
Woody's a jerk.
He is. But you know what? Sassy Woody is my favorite Woody because he's such a jerk, and it's just so fun to see like the good guy and the protagonist just be an absolute like rude person to the other main character.
Yeah, like as much as I like seeing his character growth over like the 4 movies, like Sassy Woody is probably my favorite Woody too.
Yeah, he's a good Woody.
At a minute and 16 seconds, Rocky, Snake, the Troll, Rex are all exercising using Tinker Toys. Buzz is using Robot like a treadmill, and Mr. Spell is keeping track of the calories Buzz has burned. Mr. Potato Head tries to lift one of the Tinker Toys, but his arms pop out and he just falls backwards.
And I feel that.
Yes, I do too.
I have no upper body strength at all. So watching
Me
both
either.
Rex and Miss Potato Head try to lift things up, I'm like, yeah, that's me. My upper body strength, it's like 2 wet noodles holding up a cement truck. Like, I've got the upper body strength of Stephen
Same.
Hawking, and that is about
Oh,
it.
gosh.
And feel free to cut that gag if that's too much.
Oh my gosh. No, please leave it in.
But yeah, I really just I saw that and I'm like, oh, I 100% get how you feel because there's nothing going on up here.
This scene has always bothered me because I'm like, why would a toy need to exercise?
This is true. I feel like they put it in there just to make it look like Buzz is like the hero and he has to work out to stay strong. But literally all the other toys, they don't need this and they know that they're toys, so they don't need to be doing this. Is it just support? Is it just like morale boosting for Buzz that they're doing this or
It
what?
reminds me of a line from Toy Story 4 that bothered me when Gabby like tells Woody that he's in like really good condition for being so old or something like that. And
Mhm.
he's like, "Well, I try to stay active." And I'm like, "What are you talking about? What does that have to do with anything?"
He's like, I take my vitamins, I eat my popcorn.
Well, okay, so on that, you've got Woody. Oh, it's not Woody, sorry. Buzz Lightyear working out, and he's burnt. It goes from 290 to 300 calories. I like the fact that there's a change that happens. What calories is he burning off?
Exactly. It's the popcorn calories, I'm telling
Popcorn
you.
calories. Even then, popcorn's not that high in calories. So, what's he working out?
Also, like, how is Mr. Spell able to know how many calories he's burned?
Or Mr. Spell's
Exactly.
just making stuff up.
Probably.
Exactly. That's really what's happening. He's just like, oh, I gotta look good for Buzz, so I'm gonna tell him he's burned 300 calories.
Great. Can I get one of them? Because
Exactly. I'm like, can I
that'd be
have
wonderful.
a Mr. Spell?
I feel like the other toys might just be doing it just because, they all really like Buzz and they just want to go along with whatever he's doing.
Yeah.
You
Look,
would think, though, that
probably.
after a while, they'd be like, okay, we need to kind of tell him now that he's a toy, but they keep going with it. And I'm pretty sure they would have kept going with it even at the new house.
That's true. I hadn't really thought about that. Like, Woody's the only one who like tries to break through to him at all.
But again, are they just doing it because it's fun to get a rise out of Woody? Like, God knows I've done things before purely because I know it annoys my friends. Like, I'll do something just to like niggle at them a little bit, just to like lob bombs out and just wait until one of them explodes. Because I'm a great friend. But yeah, maybe they're just doing that because Yeah, like I think I said in the last episode, I've got real like ham energy. Like I'd just be like, let's just annoy him because it's fun for us, and we're bored and there's nothing else to do.
Yeah, I can see that. And that makes more sense than them just being like, oh, be nice to him and he'll get it eventually. Like these parents that just coddle their kids to the point where they're not functional as adults.
Yeah, because like, especially Potato Head and Ham to a lesser extent, they're not nice characters. They're not nice people. So again, they're probably just doing it to like, this is really going to annoy Woody, and that's going to make my day more fun. And I really relate to that.
Yeah.
But one thing, when Potato Head goes to lift his weights and his arms fall out, he falls backwards. How does he get up? Because is it like a turtle? Because he's got nothing to help himself. His little stubbly feet can't pick him up. Do you reckon he just lays there for like 20 minutes until finally someone pays attention?
Well, maybe he
I don't know.
does. Maybe he does, because you know how each little body part moves separately, especially in Toy Story 4 when they like wiggle into the tortilla and they form a new potato head. So maybe his arms just popped off of the thing and just wiggled their way to pick himself back up.
No, I didn't even think of that. You make a good point.
That's kind of terrifying, though, just seeing like little arms moving on the floor.
Also, I just thought about this. Like, Tinker Toys aren't that heavy.
They really aren't. So these toys are very weak.
That's what they need to be working out.
This makes sense now.
Can they build muscle mass? Did they run out of breath because they don't have lungs? Except for Rex.
Except for Rex.
It all
He
comes full
breathes
circle.
for the whole collective. At 1:29, Woody pulls the checkerboard out from under the bed to play checkers with Slinky, but Slinky is busy helping Buzz move his ship. Woody gets so angry that he kicks the checkerboard, and one of the pieces bounces back against Andy's dresser and goes straight into his mouth.
It's like Woody needs anger management.
He does.
Oh, for sure. I really like Woody's eyebrows as well when he gets angry. Because they are huge. He has like RuPaul's Drag Race eyebrows going on.
He does. They're like severely, overly animated.
Now, with the blocks, right? So I'm looking at the blocks here, and they all have like a letter and a drawing on them.
Yeah.
But none of the letters and the drawings are like correlate to each other.
I noticed that too, and that kind of made me mad.
Like you've got I and a train. You've got G.
Oh, it's I for... No, wait, never mind.
I for train. G for... There's another train. There's a lot of trains. C for pig. Z for kite. B for umbrella. I mean, I guess I can say there's a B in umbrella. Yeah, so, I mean, none of these correlate to each other. Am I just overthinking this again?
Unless it's one of those blocks that has one letter on one side and another letter on the other side. So, like, the picture actually correlates with the letter that we're not seeing, and then there's another picture that correlates with the letter that we are seeing.
That could be.
You and your logic.
I'm sorry, I overthink things. You're like, get out of your own show.
Get out of your own show. This is mine now. Okay, yeah. Yeah, they all just correlate, but that just bugs me. I think if I was a kid, I think my OCD would just go into overdrive and I'd be like, this doesn't make sense. Also, I feel like they've missed chances to like put in little references here and there. Like with the like initials or something like that. Or it could be initials for like, I don't know, who's EBZ or Z, because I'm Australian. Ebenezer Scrooge. That's about as far as I can get for that.
Ebenezer Scrooge.
I'm trying to think what he did on this movie. Someone named Eben Otsby, who worked at Pixar, who worked on this movie. I want to say he did like modeling or something like that, but that's an EB.
I mean, quite possibly.
I don't know.
I mean, I don't know if there's anyone with XZ. But who knows?
All right, so at 1:41, Buzz is scratching Slinky's chin, and Slinky's tail is wagging and hitting Woody in the face. Woody pushes Slinky's rear end off the bed and he falls to the ground. Which I'm just going to say right now, it makes me so angry that when Slinky's falling, Buzz is still trying to scratch and he's not paying attention that he's falling.
Yeah, because his eyes are open. Like, they're only open a little bit, but they're open while he's doing it. So he should be able to see what's happening.
And it's like, can you not feel that you're not scratching the dog anymore? I mean, are you just doing the motions like, I'm human?
But again,
You're not
it's
gonna, like, grab him.
Yeah,
exactly. Don't save the dog. Just let him fall.
But I think you said before how much of a jerk Woody is to Slinky, and he's a real jerk to him here. He pushes him off a bed. It's not like it's a nudge out of the way. No, I am yeeting you off this bed.
I feel bad for Slinky.
It's sad because it's like Woody or Slinky is one of, like, probably the closest thing Woody has, other than maybe like Bo, to like an actual friend in the room. He's the one who's like, what's the word I'm looking for? He's like during the staff meeting scene when everybody is like, why do we need moving buddies or whatever, and Woody or Slinky is like trying to, he's saying, Woody's never steered us wrong before, all that kind of stuff. He's like the only one who is actually like supporting Woody.
Right, yeah, he's like his moral support. And you think about it, he's a dog, so dogs are man's best friend, so of course he's going to be loyal to Woody and think like, well, he's my friend, so he's not going to do anything wrong to anybody else. Except when he pushes him off the bed.
We read a quote in one of our previous episodes from the book, which we like to call our sacred text, the Toy Story, The Art and Making of the Animated Film, where it was talking about how a lot of the toys' personalities are based on like their physical being. And I remember the thing it said about Slinky was that because he's a pull toy, so he needs someone like a leader, someone to like pull him along.
That's deep.
Which I feel too is like why when Buzz shows up, he immediately is kind of ignoring Woody because Buzz is like the new guy in the room that everyone loves, and Slinky's just kind of going along.
Well, Buzz is such a natural leader as well, so maybe Slinky just like, well, you're the new alpha. He's a dog. They always go for the alpha, like follow the alpha. So that could be it. I think I found the most unrealistic thing in this movie, though, which is how is Slinky not tangled up, just in general? Because like I've seen children and Slinkies. I had a Slinky when I was a child, and within 10 minutes, that thing was irreversibly ruined.
Yeah.
So how has that not happened yet?
Well, think about the end of the movie where he's like,
stretched really like far apart.
Yeah.
And how did he go back normal?
That would have mangled up his poor little Slinky so bad, because I've done that where I've stretched it way too far and then you try to bring it back and it looks all like mangled and gross.
Or like at the beginning of Toy Story 4 when they're like trying to rescue RC.
Oh yeah. They use him. Oh my gosh, this poor dog, they stretch him so much.
Do you think with Slinky, if you chopped him in half, would his back half still be alive?
I would think so, because in Toy Story 4, that little cat toy is still alive and he's severed in half.
Exactly right. So would they then be the same person? Or are they two different people now? Because he's back, and I think in Toy Story 2, they're like, who's behind? And
he's like, mine.
Mine, and his little bum walks up and then drops down, and it's almost like they're waiting for it, like, all right, he's really far behind. So yeah, I don't know if his tail is meant to be like a separate character who's just connected to him. Well,
and then in the outtakes of that movie, like after it goes cut, he's like, oh, you're such a cute little bottom.
Which is an energy that I really aspire towards. Sometimes after a shower, I'll just turn around and go, oh, you cute little bottom. That's not true at all. That just really makes me sound weird. Great place for an awkward pause, too,
Yes.
after I said that.
It's perfect.
I mean, don't edit that out. Just leave the awkward pause
Yeah,
in
leave
there.
the
I
awkward
will.
pause
I
in.
gotta leave that in.
Oh my gosh. Okay. At 1:48, Andy is putting his toys away in the toy chest. He picks up Woody and Buzz, looks at both of them, and decides to take Buzz to bed with him. We see Andy and Buzz asleep in the bed, and the camera starts to pan over to the toy box, and the clip ends there.
I was gonna say Buzz doesn't seem like the most comfortable toy to sleep with, but then I remembered that I used to sleep with my I don't know if you guys ever had Rescue Heroes.
Oh, I remember
Yeah.
Rescue
They're
Heroes, yeah.
They were based off of a cartoon, but they're like basically just chunks of plastic. And I used to sleep with my Rescue Heroes all the time. So
I would sleep with anything that I was playing with. I would just go to sleep, and if it was stabbing me in the eye when I woke up, then so be it.
Why can't you sleep with both?
Exactly.
that's a good
My-
question.
When I
Like
was
my-
little, I used to have like 5 things with me.
Yeah. My nieces, at one point, my sister made one of my nieces take a bunch of toys off her bed because she couldn't fit in it anymore. Because that's how many she had on there. It was crazy. So I don't know why you couldn't have just had like one around each arm.
Exactly.
I don't know. What was your favorite toys as a kid? Like, what was your favorite toy?
I feel like I had different favorite toys at different times. Like I didn't have, like Andy has Woody, who seemed to be his favorite toy throughout his whole childhood.
Okay. Let me ask you then I'll put it in a different way. Who would be the Woody of your toy room when you were a kid? Do you think you'd have a toy that was like they're in charge? Like mine, for
That's a good
example, like
question.
this is unfortunately isn't a visual medium, but you can see over there's a little teddy bear,
Mhm.
right? So that's Mr. Bear Bear. I've had him since I was 4 years old. Mr. Bear Bear because I was imaginative when I was 4. That dude has been by my side for now 28 years.
Aw.
He would have been the Woody of my bedroom. So, yeah, who for you guys?
I think for me, I actually still have a lot of stuffed animals from when I was like 4 or 5. My sister made for me a stuffed black cat out of one of my grandpa's socks. And the cat has little buttons for his eyes, but the buttons have little lines on them. So it looks like his little eyes are sad. So I loved my little sad black cat.
Yep, great choice. What was his name?
I don't remember his name, but I remember that I would just look at him and I'm like, you probably can't see because your eyes are slanted like that. But I love that. I still have him. I love that cat to death.
Nice.
I had and still have a stuffed golden retriever that I remember when I was like 7 or 8 years old, like walking through Toys R Us and seeing it in like a big pile of stuffed animals and being like, I want that for Christmas. And so my parents actually got it for me that year for Christmas. And see, I was 8, so that would have been almost 18 years now. But his name is Ruffy because I was 8 and didn't realize that sounded like another word.
Perfect.
Lovely.
That makes it even better now.
Yeah.
Well, do we have anything else to say about this clip?
Just that the animation hasn't aged well. That's all. We mentioned it last
Yeah.
time, but yeah, it's real. Forgive the pun, wooden. Now, I will say I am disappointed because I believe it's the next, like you guys will talk about it in the next episode, but it has my favorite joke of any Toy Story film, which is
shark?
when I'm Woody, howdy, howdy, howdy. Aha, give me that.
Yeah, that's what we have that as our header on all of our social media.
Yeah.
That is the best gag in all of Toy Story history.
It is fantastic. I
Yeah.
love that scene. I remember quoting that so much when I was little. Me and my cousin just constantly, to the point where my parents were like, "Can you please stop?"
Yeah, my sister and I still do it.
That's great.
I've got something from the audio commentary for this movie. They said that originally there were different sequences. They were just going to have like different, instead of a montage, they were going to have different sequences showing like Woody losing his world and Buzz becoming Andy's favorite toy. But Thomas Shoemaker, who was the senior vice president of feature animation at Disney at the time, suggested using a song and doing it as a montage.
I think they made a really good choice with that,
Yeah.
because doing separate scenes would have been more like, okay, get to the point. So doing a montage with a song that's catchy, it's my favorite song, it just makes it flow better. It keeps the attention of the children. And it's something that's not going to be like mind-numbingly boring for the parents to watch too.
Well, like I think we said, this is an 81-minute film. It doesn't feel overstuffed, which is nice. Like, it goes on 80 minutes, which isn't that long of a movie at all. But it doesn't feel, but everything feels necessary. And it doesn't feel like there's any fat to trim. Whereas I think had they kept in separate scenes, it would have been a little bit like, yep, we get the point. Let's move on.
Yeah, just keep going. And, it's not unnecessary filler, in other words.
Yeah. I was also going to mention there's a demo version of Strange Things that was on the Legacy Collection release of the Toy Story soundtrack. It's kind of interesting to hear. It's basically just Randy Newman playing the song on piano. If I can find it on YouTube, I will put it in the show notes so people can listen to it. Now, also, I know you've heard this, Bianca, but the version of Strange Things from the Toy Story Sega Genesis game is amazing.
Really?
It's great.
It's a lot of fun.
Yes.
All right,
Yeah.
I'll have to go and have a listen to it.
Yes,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, it's really neat. I'll put that in the show notes too. That's all I have.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Jared, for being on our podcast again. And is there anything else that you would like to plug?
No, just as I did last week, toughpigs.com. I talk a lot about Muppets. I believe by the time this comes out, you can watch me interview Gonzo and Pepe for Muppets Haunted Mansion. Go watch Muppets Haunted Mansion as well, which will be out by the time this is out. I've seen it; it's fantastic. And go watch me do silly interviews. I've interviewed a lot of Muppets over the years, and it never gets old. It's a real bizarre moment, even over Zoom. Like, I've had to do a few of them over Zoom, and it still blows my mind how easily I can forget that there's a human being underneath the puppet. It's real easy to forget.
Your Muppet interviews are very fun to watch.
Thank you. I try to make them a little bit different. This Gonzo Pepe one's really good. I'll give you two a little teaser. You haven't seen it yet, but Gonzo does a Pepe impression.
Oh, that's
fun. Pepe's response gets a genuine laugh out of Dave Goles, who's performing Gonzo. And it's genuinely really, really funny. So I'm quite proud of it. I had to be up before 6 a.m. for it.
Oh, wow.
Because they were doing a press junket. I got 4 minutes and I had to be up before 6 a.m. to do it.
Wow,
so I'm very tired. If you watch it, I have bags under my eyes because I've been awake about 10 minutes. Enough time to jump in the shower, jump out and get dressed.
Oh my gosh.
So please go see that. That'll be on toughpigs.com or youtube.com/toughpigs.
Yes, everyone go check that out.
Yes, please. All right. Well, thanks for listening, everyone. Be sure to follow our Facebook and Twitter accounts and send us an email if you have any thoughts, comments, questions, or concerns. And if you enjoy the podcast, please leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. See you next time.
Goodbye.
Bye, gang.
Bye.